Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Caboose XBL, and right before we get into the commentary topic, or this week's Q&A, I wanted to give a huge shout-out to Jake Baldino. You know that I've shouted him up before, due to the fact that he has a channel that he works on called Game Ranks, and they're coming up on 7,000 subscribers. So what I want you guys to do is go to the link in the description and click on their channel and hit subscribe, please, because the channel deserves it, especially Jake. He is working so hard. He works every single day on that channel, and he does an awesome job with top 10 videos and topic videos, and it's just so much fun to watch, and it's awesome. So please, guys, do me a favor and go to that channel, hit subscribe, and click on a video or two and comment down letting him know that Caboose sent you. So with that said, enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Caboose XBL, bringing the Batman Arkham Knight Q&A, and right before we get into the Q&A, I wanted to say a huge thank you for getting me to 60,000 subscribers. So funny story, I woke up the other morning, and I checked my phone, as I always do, and you know, I knew that I was going to hit 60,000 subscribers that day, because the day before I was at like 59,990, so I was like, oh, I'll just tweet it out in the morning and let everybody know. But Gaz Deeves himself actually beat me to it, and he tweeted me congratulating me on hitting this milestone, and then after that, just a shower of congratulations came from fellow friends and family and YouTube colleagues. So thank you guys so much for the congratulations and for helping me get this milestone. It is absolutely insane. It is surreal how fast we are growing and how fast we continue to grow. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the rest of this year. I can't wait for June, because my goodness, the plans that I have for this channel, you guys don't even know. It's going to be awesome. With that said, let's get into the Q&A. Our first question coming from Jordan D, and he goes, question, do you think the Cadmus Lab posters that we saw in Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC will come into play in Arkham Knight? If you don't know, they do cloning in the DC Universe. Now, after that, he goes on his little theory about what they could do with the cloning, and it involves the Arkham Knight, so I'm going to skip over that. But you bring up an interesting question in that in the Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC, Rocksteady, I say strategically placed a lot of Cadmus posters and little labs and stuff all around the DLC, and they just kind of sprinkled it here and there, and it's like, really, for the most part, if you think about it, in previous Arkham games especially, Rocksteady doesn't do anything without merit. There's nothing they do that doesn't have any weight towards it. You know, they do everything for a reason. So I think that if they were going to try and capture our attention on these Cadmus posters and stuff, then it'd be for some sort of reason. And, you know, I wouldn't say necessarily that it'd be like, oh, the Arkham Knight is a clone, or they're going to create a clone of the Joker. But maybe somebody working for Cadmus in the comics or something like that could be involved within Arkham Knight, and that could have been a hint leading towards that. It's very interesting, but, you know, Rocksteady doesn't do things just so that we can brush it off and forget about it. Every little detail in their games have some sort of meaning towards it. So thank you very much, Jordan, for your question, and who knows what we're going to see in Arkham Knight in terms of Cadmus. I hope that they can pull it off and make it make sense within that Arkham universe. Moving on to the next question coming from Rosie Zombie, and she or he goes, question, hi Caboose, I've been watching your videos since the announcement of Arkham Knight, thank you very much. I really like your theories and ideas, but I can't help but think you're overlooking something. How are we certain that Scarecrow / Arkham Knight are the villains in charge? Who says they're not just puppets like Hugo Strange in Arkham City? I have a theory that the Court of Owls are the masters at work, or maybe it's the Joker pulling all the strings. Please answer in the Q&A. Love your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, and I will answer your question in the Q&A. So, if you don't know, I made a breakdown for the Ace Chemicals Infiltration Part 1 video, and in that breakdown, towards the end, when Batman's fighting the martial artists, I mentioned how the martial artists, they give off this vibe and this look of a Court of Owls member. And what you've just stated here, this idea that Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight are not the main villains as they're advertised to be, makes a ton of sense. And I'll tell you why. Just because of what you stated. It happened in Arkham City. Arkham City, we were all expecting Hugo Strange to be the big baddie. He was the guy running everything. You know, he was the one pulling all the strings. And of course, when we reached the end of the game, we learned that that was not the case, that there was somebody else in charge, that there was somebody else who was pulling the strings, and it wasn't Hugo Strange. So they could do something like that, something similar like that in Batman Arkham Knight, and I would really, really hope that it would be something like the Court of Owls. I'm going to skim over you saying the Joker. I'm just going to forget you even mentioned him. But the Court of Owls would be awesome to see in Batman Arkham Knight because I love that storyline in the comics. Any Batman fan would definitely put it in their top 10 comic book storylines for Batman. I'm not saying it would be like number 2 or number 1, but I'm sure any Batman fan out there would put it right in their top 10. I know I would for sure. The Court of Owls are just these awesome, creepy, scary-looking enemies that Batman goes up against. And I think they were created, I remember hearing a quote that it was supposed to be a legitimate reflection of what a bat's worst enemy is, and that would be an owl. So what it could lead to tons of things. You know, the Arkham Knight could be Talon, and he works for the Court of Owls. They sent him out there because he was their best trained and most highly trained, whatever you want to say. And there's just so much that can go there in terms of the plot, and it would be amazing. I would love that so much. So please, Rocksteady, if you're watching this, please just give us some Court of Owls. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention is that we haven't even seen like 3/4 of the villains that are going to be in this game. So who knows what kind of villains we will see, and I'm hoping in some way, shape, or form that the Court of Owls are one of those villains. Now, them pulling the strings, them being in charge, that would be friggin' cool. And I'm sure it wouldn't be a rehash of what happened in Arkham City. I'm fairly certain that Rocksteady would make it work and make it original and unique and not just something that was completely redone from the last game. So thank you very much for the question, Rosie. And moving on to the next question coming from Frosty1130. Now, I've seen his questions pop up every now and then in these Q&As, so keep coming the great questions, dude. You actually really put a lot of thought in your questions, so let's read his question today. And he goes, great to see the Q&A videos back. Thank you very much. My question, villains turning good-ish. Of all Batman villains, do you think that one or two might turn goodish, meaning they stop fighting with Batman or try to help him in any way possible? I personally think that it would be one of these 3 characters. Deadshot, he's really not a bad guy, he's just an assassin who wants his daughter back. Deathstroke, he, like Deadshot, is an assassin, but he isn't completely bad and is a reasonable man. And lastly, Killer Croc. Wait, Killer Croc? Yes, Killer Croc. We know that he's a great villain of Batman, but now that Scarecrow is back, Croc's had to be scared through the past Arkham games. I think Killer Croc will be the most likely to assist Batman more than attack/fight him. Now, I gotta agree with you, and I've covered this topic before about Killer Croc joining forces with Batman, and I do think that it is very plausible that, in general, a villain or two might turn over to the good side and might use their morals against their hatred towards Batman. You know, like, instead of thinking, well, you know, yeah, I hate Batman, but I don't know about killing him. I don't know about causing all this mayhem and letting all hell break loose in all of Gotham just to kill one dude. You know, maybe I should put my morals in front of me in this situation, and that would be really cool. I'm not saying that these villains are going to be like, hey, Batman, can I be the next Robin? I'm saying, like, just for this night, for the sake of what is going on in Gotham, a villain or two might decide that they can't do what they're doing and turn to the good side, and it would be a very interesting dynamic, and it would add a lot of character to whatever villain would be doing said actions. So I hope this would happen. It would be a nice, interesting story element, and it would be something new that we haven't really seen very often in all of Batman's mythos. So thank you very much for the question, Frosty. Keep them coming. You asked some great questions, dude. Moving on to the last question of the day, coming from King Jami on Instagram. That's right. And he goes, question, do you still think that Hush is going to be in the game? We know that Arkham City, or we know that the city is evacuated, so how will Hush affect Bruce Wayne if there's no one in Gotham except for cops, and criminals? I would rather have it as a DLC where we do the Hush storyline, including the fight between Superman and Batman. That would be epic. Thanks, and keep making these great videos. Thank you very much. Now, the Superman and Batman fight would be very hard to do. That would just be too much weight on Rocksteady's shoulders. I don't think that they would do that particularly, but you bring up an insanely good point in that there's nobody in Gotham City for Hush to really perform his master plan in ruining Bruce Wayne's life, unless he's already done so beforehand, and we would have some sort of prequel DLC, you know, that takes place like halfway through Arkham City to Arkham Knight, you know. But a Hush-centered DLC that takes place either before or after the events of Arkham Knight, all the citizens are there, and this would be a more grounded storyline. It would be a storyline less about Batman and more about Bruce Wayne. It would make your character feel a little more human because of all the things that he can do, kicking ass and breaking skulls, but not killing people. It would just feel more grounded and more human and more personal, and I would like a DLC like that. It would be really cool, and again, you bring up a great point. There's no citizens in Gotham during Arkham Knight for Hush to really do anything that would affect Bruce Wayne, unless he already knows Bruce Wayne's identity as Batman, and he can do something in that aspect, but besides that, I don't really know what Hush could do. So you bring up a great point, and I would love to see a Hush-centered DLC in Batman Arkham Knight. So with that said, what do you guys think of all these questions? Let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to also leave your new comments for the next Q&A in the comments, as well as tweeting me and dropping comments on my Instagram. Those links are in the description. You can go follow me there. I'm CaboosXBL. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.